Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Collaboration Conversation series, where I'm joined by friends and fellow seekers to talk about all things spirituality. And in today's episode, I have joining me for his second ever appearance on this channel, Moments with Z, or as he goes by, Z. Now, I love this guy so much. In our first episode, I had seen just a YouTube video in my recommended from him, and I watched it, and he had this feel to him. He had this light to him that was so sweet and so genuine and so pure, and a genuine seeker, a genuine healer. So I reached out to him and we did a collab, and that was quite a while ago, and just a week or so ago, I messaged him asking if he'd be interested in doing another collab, and he was very quick to say yes. So, Z, thank you so much for joining me, man. In today's video, it's honestly just like a conversational, really, as he put it, sit around the fire and talk kind of flow and feel to it. We start off talking about just how we've been, what we've been up to, how we've been, the sort of roller coaster of the ups and downs of life, and yeah, it's very formless and free, this conversation. We talk a bit about the sort of superficial and artificial rigidity of culture and the sort of mainstream stereotypes and narratives that are forced on us in this culture. We talk about the flow of inspiration and creativity and how we work with that energy, how we channel that energy, the ways in which we like to express that creative drive, that creative passion. Z talks about his personal techniques and methods for finding a route, finding a river for that creativity to flow in. And we also touch on some of Z's main tools for centering and grounding and releasing and allowing and surrendering into the moment when he's faced with hardships in whatever form that may be in. And yeah, man, we just kind of hang out and talk about stuff, like he said, sit around the fire and talk. Z, thank you so much, man. You're such a light. This is a beautiful conversation, and as you said yourself, it was so rejuvenating to just spend an hour talking with you. And to all the viewers watching this, thank you so much. I really hope you guys enjoy, whether you're cleaning or sitting and actually watching or driving to work or out on a run or whatever it is. Whenever you watch this video, thank you so much, and I really hope you guys enjoy and you can feel that just burst of rejuvenation and love. And I feel like Z and I have this very sweet softness between our connection. It's so sweet and it's so loving. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. And I'm going to leave a link to Z's YouTube and Instagram account down in the description of this video. So please check him out and give him some love. But yeah, without any further ado, thank you guys so much. I really hope you enjoy. Thank you, Z. And I will see you all later. Namaste. Yes, yes. What's up, dude?
Living life, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. It's so good to see you. Like you said on that call yesterday, it's been a little too long.
Dude, it's been a minute, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot has happened since the last time we caught up. What you been up to, dude?
I don't know. I don't know exactly where I was at when we last chatted, but yeah, man, I work at a cannabis facility. If you're familiar with what hash is, I'm a hash maker. I
Oh,
make
cool.
bubble hash and like pressing rosin and stuff. And yeah, man, as far as the bigger picture, I've been hanging out with beautiful people, spending time with beautiful people, um, learning every day as much as I can, more and more how to love myself, allow myself, and with that, allow others and love others and just enjoy life, man. Enjoy life, and try to look at the big picture and see every day as an opportunity to grow, to keep it
Absolutely, man.
concise. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's
I'm happy.
actually we're a little bit limited on time. But my first question is, man, how has Z been? How has Z been? How has Z been treating life? How has life been treating Z?
Yeah, that's That's a beautiful question, man. How has Z been? Um, Awareness continues to expand. I feel like I'm becoming more aware of more parts of myself, my
Hmm.
life. And again, for me, it's always like a roller coaster. Like I'll have some phases of serious heaviness, and then it would like shoot me up to somewhere that feels very nice, vibrant, and flowy. And it's been that pattern, like
Yep.
repeat. I've kind of learned to just surf with it, not kind of like fight against that flow, which is really
Yes.
nice. And yeah, I my main thing has always been, okay, how do I want to contribute to life, to this world while I'm still here? That's kind of like my bigger mission. And then like my kind of individual mission, I am very, very certain it's relating to me, my family, friendships. It's all relationships basically.
Hmm.
And that's been, I think I'm finally finding my equilibrium, creating distance between certain relationships, getting closer to family, certain friction points within our relationship coming up.
Yes.
So
Like your direct blood family.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like battling the expectation of the life that they envision for me, um, as opposed to the life that I know to be true, I know to be right for me, and it's those two visions are very conflicting for them,
Yeah.
and they also have to struggle or wrestle with the fact that one, they love me, so they can't really impose their will on me, but then also they have their own vision of what they believe is best for me. So that's like an inner conflict that they're having, and then
Yeah.
we have our own like kind of out external conflict, but through it all, we still love each other. So it's a process for sure.
Yeah, man. What's the kind of the legacy that they see you going in?
Yeah, just like a traditional 9 to 5.
Right. Right.
It's all about stability, which I get because we come from like just a generation ago, we were incredibly impoverished. I think my family came to America with like 135 bucks. Um, and we had
Wow.
some network. Yeah, yeah. Thanks to like our relatives being able to like help us out, that we're in this current position right now. So to them, stability, predictability is everything. And to me,
Yeah.
stability, predictability is not real. Like we could be gone tomorrow. My life can end tomorrow. Their life can end tomorrow. Like there's nothing is really guaranteed. So I, yeah, I don't know. I don't resonate very well with like stability anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stability and predictability. Like we all want and love control and in knowing what's coming and dude, every single day is a leap of faith, an act of faith where, like you said, you don't know when your last moment is. You don't know when you see your loved one or your friends or your beloved or whoever it is. You don't know when the last moment you're gonna see them is, you know what I mean? And yeah, you can see it in so many different like sort of like microcosms of life of how we want that control of, you know what I mean, the fixed income, the fixed work schedule, the fixed job, one job as long as you can, fucking just yeah, the trying to keep it all together in this thing that's really um like multi-dimensional and like this sort of malleable, melty liquid
Yeah,
mystery,
yeah,
and we're all like look at the stuff we wear, man, like the clothes, like the what it means to look professional, like the suit and tie and the perfect hair and like if I'm watching the news or something, like, and I'm like, that's what professional looks like. You know what I mean? It's very strange. It's very inorganic.
yeah.
And all yeah. And all life is organic and just open. You know what I mean?
If it doesn't feel real, if I can
Yeah.
add on to that, like I don't know, when I look at a lot of like news or like the professional setting, it doesn't feel true. It doesn't feel, the word you use, organic. It's, and I talk to friends, right? They have to put these professional masks on.
Yeah.
Um, I would say code switching too, and it's just, and I used to do that too, and it's like, why though? Like
Yeah.
why have to put on a mask? Why not everybody just unveil who they are
Yeah.
and better communicate this way. Anyways, I think to me the only reason for a mask is if you have something to hide. It's either
Right.
that or you're just playing around like in a what is called like a masquerade type party, like in the context of a fun and joyful thing. Sure, create a social mask for yourself just for shits and giggles, but in professional setting when we're trying to make a valuable exchange and serve each other, it's just like I don't see the point of that. Let's just take off our masks, be real, be authentic, and everything will fall into place. Yeah, it was a very tough time for me to put on that mask repeatedly over and over and over.
Yeah.
Not who I was underneath that mask. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, as far as like the news is concerned, it's almost like it's dehumanizing the people that are like the news anchors and all the people. It's like it's dehumanizing them and making them sort of this like automated robot so that a written fucking narrative can be delivered without the humanity of them interfering. So it you know what I mean? It makes them like this robot, you know. That's weird. I'm just glad to hear that you've been well, man. It's so good to see you again. You're such a light. Um, I follow you on both my social media pages, and I love seeing your new posts. I loved the creation of your new Instagram page where it was more dedicated to just your personal life rather than kind of having to hold back who Z is in concern of what your followers and your fans think of Z, you know what I mean? And really just saying, look, this is who I am on this page. If you want to see what's up, you know what I mean? And yeah, your engagement with being a speaker for different meetings. I aspire to that stuff, man. You're really taking the initiative and going in that direction of um, what would you call yourself? A mental health coach, a wellness coach?
yeah, I've been using the term mental health coach for a long time. I guess like what it distills down to is definitely some form of coaching, and I just help
Yep.
people get their mind right without having to rely on pills. Like that's the
Get your
core.
mind right without pills. Yeah, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a whole conversation of itself, man, you know. There's a quote, I forget who it came from, but it's something along the lines of, you know, if you're not eating right, showering enough, drinking enough, moving enough, um, living in a clean environment, cleaning enough, going outside and getting enough fresh air enough, you're not giving yourself the light of day to be happy, to be better. So before you jump to physiologically and neurologically altering your perception and your whole chemical being, do what you can to show up. You know what I'm saying? And that's the double-edged sword because there are people that have chemical deficits, chemical imbalances, but I feel like we are far too quick to think that we're one of them. We all experience anxiety, depression, anger, confusion, restlessness, lack of direction, cynicism, nihilism, those kinds of things. But to blame it on not having enough serotonin or dopamine or oxytocin or these things, I feel like we're sort of um, undermining our own ability, you know, to better ourselves.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It's there's certainly a lot of people who have that physiological, I guess, imbalance is the, trendiest theory right now. Who knows what's this explanation a couple years down the line. But yeah, for sure, those people exist. But I think it's way like you mentioned, people are so quick to jump on the label of,
Yeah.
oh, I must so and so disorder. And even doctors themselves, they're so quick to diagnose. And to me, diagnosis is a can be very dangerous in the sense that if I say to you, hey, you have so generalized anxiety disorder, it's almost like I'm casting a spell on you, and then the person
Right.
When
I have social anxiety disorder. Yeah, right. Um,
identity. And it's like, well, if you have anxiety points to something we're afraid of, right? And we're not going to find courage in a pill. We're not going to find a solution in a pill. We might find relief in a pill, but we're not going to find the true essence of what's going on in a
yeah.
pill. And to me, it's like a spiritual deficit expressing itself physically, and we're only addressing the physical side of it. And I work to address the spiritual side of it.
I get very far out with that kind of stuff where like have you ever had a moment where like it just seems like everybody in your immediate proximity is having a kind of shitty day and you feel like you're uptight and they're uptight and there's argumentative energy and tension and animosity and they're upset about that and everyone's just flustered and frustrated. That to me, bro, comes off as exactly what you're talking about. It's a spiritual deficit, a spiritual something or other, energetic something or other that's making itself manifest in the physical world of our day-to-day life. And it plays out individually where you have your reason why you're upset, they have their reason why they're upset, but in reality it's this same energetic sort of mist that we're all a part of that's altering how we feel, and so it's playing out in the physical. It's almost like this physical world is like a shadow being cast by our spiritual selves. You know what I mean? And it's really far out. And you know that I feel like that's kind of part of the inspiration in people thinking the lunar cycles or zodiacs and that kind of stuff or just astrology astrological situations, people thinking that that's responsible for everyone feeling flustered. That's kind of what I'm talking about, but not necessarily solely being tied into the moon or the planet or your zodiac, but more so like the ultimate whatever the hell that is, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
uh but dude,
man.
yeah, you speak of the roller coaster, you know. I feel you, bro. It's like we're just on a ride, man. We're just on a ride and um yeah, I can get really down for periods of time where, you know, like especially like with my YouTube channel, you know, like not having the creative passion to share, and even if I do, not being able to get it out. Where it's
Mhm.
just kind of like lodged inside of me and I can't find the words. I'm being like overcritical of myself and I can just tell when where I'm speaking from isn't a place of authenticity and um at easeness. I can tell when I'm all I want to make a video, so I'm gonna talk about, you know what I mean? Like and yeah, it can get me down sometimes when I'm not feeling that flow, that divine peace and serenity and creativity, you know, and I can start to just feel, you know, like I'm just trudging along. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, you know, and um it's a matter of faith on my end of trusting that I'm just in a little trough, you know, and it's gonna ride itself out. Um but
Is
yeah,
there
it's hard.
is there anything like because I'm curious how each individual person kind of get through those blockages, like those creative blockages, because I experienced those moments too. So I was wondering, like, how do you, when you feel those blockages, do you kind of just let it take its course until you're on the upswing again, or do you try to like help it along to help you tune back into the upswing? I was curious, like, how do you get into that?
Um So for me, a lot of where my creativity is directed is in this kind of stuff. My YouTube channel, or writing. I recently published a book that was like 2 years in the making.
By the way, that's dope.
Yes, thank you so much, man. But projects like that of writing, poetry, videos, big projects for videos and stuff like that. that's where a lot of my creativity goes. But not always do I feel not always do I feel that that's where it should go. A lot of the time, man, that creativity is transmuted through going on a silent walk in nature, or cleaning, or chatting with some friends, or hanging out with my grandfather, my sweet grandfather who I live with, or playing with my cats, or gardening, or um meditating. Sometimes for me, the way it is it's like it's this thing within me that wants something to happen. It's the opposite of boredom. I'm not bored. I want to create. I want to share. I need something needs to happen. It's this energy, and that's what will, like, if that energy is present and a certain idea, sort of spins through my mind in a certain way, boom, the camera gets set up, the microphone gets set up, and I'm sharing something. Or what's that?
So nice.
Yeah, yeah. But sometimes I don't like to try and reach for where that energy wants to go. I kind of let it just move me, man. You know what I mean? Let me be at the bidding of this energy, this flow of creativity. And yeah, like I was saying, going on a walk, cleaning, or hanging out with my friends and family, or meditating. Sometimes I just sit and I
Yeah.
just feel the flow. Just feel the flow and let it naturally just seep into all of my being and my cells and my mind and my body. And if a video comes out of it, if writing comes out of it, if some, that same energy can also inspire me to like buy a plane ticket.
Right.
It's just this flow. It's just this flow of uh inspiration and journeying and creation and voicing myself, and it's beautiful. And if anything, what I do to help that along is kind of try to get out of its way, to let it do what it needs to do. You know what I mean? Which is easier said than done, because you know what I mean? Like we can very easily get in our own way, and yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, that's exactly my experience with it too, in the sense that when I feel the blockage, it's me holding myself back, it's
Yep.
me blocking myself. And for a long time, I had like the biggest struggle kind of just watching myself when I'm editing videos. I'm just overly critical of myself, judging every little thing. And now the creative process actually has become almost like a meditative practice for me,
Yep.
where if I catch myself judging, I'll be like, oh, okay, that's the ego coming into play. Let me just chill out, dissolve the ego, soften it. I don't want to say dissolve because ego is very important. It's what allows us to have this experience of separation. I am me, you're you, but
Yep.
we're all one. So yeah, ego is like dope in that sense. But when it comes to creativity and it's getting in my way, that's when I know that like I gotta settle my ego, no judgment. Now just view my work objectively. Like, is it,
Facts, bro.
you know what I mean? Like, is there good flow? Is this coming from a good place? Is the message clear? It's not so much about like, oh, how does it look? Or like, how do I look? And it's become so much better once I saw it through that lens of like, oh, my creative process is like a meditative process too. Let me
Yep.
just practice getting my ego out of the way, and then something more, something beyond can come through. And so I feel that 100%, man. It's so funny how we can get in our own way like that.
It's crazy, and it's something that it's hard to articulate it. It's hard to talk about it. But Alan Watts nails it, talking about, like if what's the difference between listening and really listening closely?
Yeah.
What's the difference between looking at something and really giving something a good look? You know? The difference is the ego trying to do better what's already happening.
Mm.
There is no difference between listening and really listening closely. You're always listening as close as you possibly can, So, so long as you're focused on what you need to be focused on. But as far as like trying to listen harder, you can't. The ego can't do what's already happening. The ego can't, you know what I'm saying? And that's the getting in your own way part. And when something wants to flow or be created, or that energy just wants to be present, the ego can get really quickly get on this sort of like high horse of trying to make it come out in how it thinks it needs to come out. You know what I mean? Like being overcritical of yourself, or a perfectionist, or becoming restless with that energy, because that creative energy is intense. And very quickly, if you don't know what to do with it, you can get very restless and make decisions that aren't in your best interest. You know what I mean? Like just doing weird ass shit, or doing stuff unmindfully, or without much thought into it. And just you can get very restless and worked up, and like kind of manic
Oh
from
my,
that creative energy. So yeah, that's why it's good to have a plethora of routes for that energy, little rivers, little fingers and tendrils of rivers for that energy to sort of be expressed. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Rather than one main way where if you can't do it in that moment, you just can't handle the energy and you get all weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
That, you sharing that did something for me just now because you showed me that there's multiple channels and avenues for expression. I think like deep down, I knew that to a degree, but it's like when you say that, it brought it from the subconscious to the conscious now.
right, man.
Yeah, like I've always associated creativity with the work that I put out, but
Yes.
that's just one channel, right? Another channel
Yeah.
dancing, another channel is me going out for a walk, another channel is actually this, like connecting with
Hell yeah.
individuals and
Hmm.
expressing. So wow, I've been seeing it very like narrowly, but now thanks to you, it's more like it's opened
That's
up
beautiful.
expression
That's
now.
so beautiful. And yeah, like that creativity, man, is in the creativeness and uniqueness of how you express your love to your family or your pet, or the mindfulness and delicacy in which you clean your room and organize your space, or pouring a cup of coffee, or lighting that incense, or all of that. It's so refreshing, that energy, and it's the energy of the artist. It's the
Mm.
energy of the writer, the yogi, the mystic. You know what I mean? The dancer. That's actually a question I had for you, was that I've seen you're into dancing, and I absolutely love that, as much as I see people into yoga and tai chi and painting and making music. I see you're into dancing, Z. And yeah, how did you get involved with that? And of course, how does that tie into a sort of meditative medicine for you?
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for asking that question. Um, Honestly, my very first memory was of dancing, of performance.
Wow.
I was born in China. I came to America when I was 4 years old. So this must have happened somewhere between like 2 to 3 years old before I came to America. Um, I remember standing on top of my grandparents' like wooden rickety bed frame, and I was just like fake performing, kind of like this, and they were gassing me up, just like hyping me, and it was a beautiful exchange because the more they gassed me up, I received that energy, and I'm like, oh wow, I feel amazing, and then we express this even more through the
Wow.
performance, and then they received it even more, which like light them up, and then they expressed it even more to me, and it became this like synergistic exchange of energy. Now
Wow.
I didn't have the vocabulary to describe that experience back then, but that was truly what I felt. I was looking into their eyes, and as their eyes lit up, my soul lit up, and then I kept expressing, and they kept lighting up, and we kept lighting each other up. And That was my first
Wow.
ever, bro. Like that experience was so powerful. I'm still getting goosebumps like talking about it.
Wow.
That experience was so powerful that it brought me online. I became conscious from that moment forward. That was my first.
Damn. That's crazy as far as being able to pinpoint your very first memory, let alone that pivotal moment of feeling like you've come online. That's crazy, bro. Like I have trouble, like I have a far distant memory. I can't remember if I was 3 or if I was 7, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't really feel that out or like yeah, the coming onlineness. That's very interesting, bro. But yeah,
Yeah.
when did you reinvest yourself into it, or have you been doing it your whole life?
I've been doing it kind of like tangentially for most of my life. And then it was around high school time that I kind of started distancing myself or stopped tending to that side of me, that part of me. Mainly because it was like you got to focus on your career. You got to start focusing your energy on what's going to make you money. And, dance, at least my immediate community just never saw it as like an avenue for making money, making a living. So I stopped tending to that side of me around high school, college. And it really wasn't until like 2 years ago, a year and a half to 2 years ago. Yeah, it was my experience with ayahuasca that reminded me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think back to that at least a couple times a month, bro. That's
dude,
so good.
it reminded me of who I am. Like
Hmm.
I was trying to be somebody.
Fuck yeah.
Right? I was trying to make something of myself. And in that journey, in that process, I forgot who I truly was. So that ayahuasca experience was a huge reminder of who I truly am.
Yep.
I'm a storyteller, I'm a performer, and I'm a dancer. Those three was what was told to me, that was what was shared to me. And dancer one was the one I've always known. The storyteller, the performer, I was kind of like, huh? Like I didn't see that so much. But as I started walking on this path and like when I'm on camera, when I'm speaking, it starts to feel like a performance, like a divine performance. If I just get out of the way,
Yes, sir.
yeah. And of course, the storytelling element is obviously there now. So it was so fascinating to be reminded of who I am and then starting to embody it as I continue this journey. And that moment on, I just started tapping back into like the dancing side of me, the playful side of me. And I joined a community in New York City, a freestyle community called Stuytown Breakdown. And it's just a bunch of warm-hearted individuals meeting up once a week. And we just share knowledge, dance, have a good time together, and I felt so safe, so seen. And ever since then, I've just been expressing myself through dance. And I can definitely go a little bit more into like the spiritual side and like of dancing, if you like, because dancing is go on forever about dancing.
Dude, I would love to hear it because that's so beautiful, man. And that, I can't believe I didn't even mention it, is an absolute vessel and route for that creative energy to flow in. Dancing, man, that is so beautiful and formless and selfless and meditative and thoughtless when you really start to just swing with it. So I would love to hear more about the spiritual side of the dancing.
Absolutely. The selfless, like the thoughtless, those to me are like the best part of dancing. I can get into an ecstatic state where I'm no longer existing. It's just the music moves me and
Yep.
I don't know who me is anymore. I'm just moving to the rhythm of life, to the rhythm of the music. And it feels so good to let that energy course through me. And then this is just in the context of me dancing myself, but now, if we invite other people, a communal dance together, it becomes an exchange, it becomes a communication, it becomes an expression, and we can all connect together through dance. Music and dance heals. Music and dance can bring together the entire world. it's borderless. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. Music will move you. You know, dance will bring us together. And it's it's unfortunate that when dance finally got a chance to be on the world stage, the recent Olympic, that they zone in on a moment that they put a lens of humor on it to kind of like dismiss dance. Like there was a break dancer, I forget her name, but basically everybody started clowning on her performance, and that
Wow.
affects the collective perception of dance. You know, it's
Yep.
and now it's like it's tainted a little bit, but it can never truly be masked because dance is truth. You can't do an inauthentic dance. Someone can see that a mile away. Oh, you're not dancing true to your soul. So outside of that little, I guess like tangent relating to how it got tainted, dance is life, man. Like dance is movement, is life. It's all a dance. It's we all have rhythm because we all have a heartbeat. We all have the way we breathe, our inhale and our exhale. There's rhythm built into us, and without rhythm, there's no dance. So everything is a dance.
Wow.
Um, dude, like when I started getting really into dancing and seeing the spiritual side of it, everything became a dance. Like once the music stopped, it didn't feel like the dancing stopped. It still felt like I'm dancing when I'm talking to people. When I'm talking to you right now, it feels like I'm dancing because there's a rhythm, there's a melody to it.
That's crazy.
And then yeah, exactly. And then you jump in like that, and then that becomes part of the melody. And if
Wow.
people are in tune, they dance together. But if they're not in tune, it'll lead to moments like, but no, you know, it's like kind of out of sync. And you got to sync up the rhythm, and then you'll be on the same wavelength. And then
Whoa. Bruh, that is beautiful, dude. That is awesome. I've thought before, man, that like relationships, not only all relationships, but most particularly romantic, intimate relationships are an exquisite dance of when you and another person get involved and you're both very deep, very sensitive, deep people, deep souls, and you start to vibe with each other, bro, it's a dance. It's a dance. They swing over this way and throw their arm out, and you catch their hand over here, and then you whip around, and then they disconnect from you for a moment, and you're like, and then they come back in swooping, and then you drift away for a moment, and then they come back over, and I'm speaking in absolute metaphor right now, you know what I mean? Like that might not even be clear, but what I'm saying is that's how the flow of the relationship can feel as far as your feelings and your thoughts and your fears and your insecurities and how they make you feel and then how you make them feel and then how you go about the moment and what they do to sort of catch you. And then when they fall and you catch them, and it's literally just this liquid flowing dance that's so beautiful. And it's like a dance floor with a dimly lit room, and the whole universe is watching these two beings just
wow,
fucking yeah, it's so beautiful and it's very much so like a dance. And there's been moments where I see directly into that sort of mysterious, beautiful, like spiritually, it's so deep and primal. The
wow,
flow of think about like birds, male and female birds, how the female is generally sort of dull in color and very sort of passive. And not only that, but um, dismissive. And the male birds are often very iridescent and colorful and showy. And they literally put on this whole dance for the girl, like, come on, do you see me, bro? Do you see me? And the girl's like, no, not yet, not yet. Nope, not this one. Nope, not you. And then one bird does it just in a certain kind of way and catches her eye, and boom, they're off. And it's love, and it's another generation, and it's so
cool.
beautiful. It's literally a dance, dude. And Yeah, you talk about how there's not a wrong dance. That you can't, you know what I'm saying? I was at the beach the other day, and I was there with a beautiful being, and we were just sitting there watching the waves crashing. And it occurred to me again, which I've heard before, that there is the wave can't be a wave wrong.
Mm,
The way it builds and swells, and then the white starts to break and crash, and the foam and the every little bit of it is absolute perfection. The real epitome and definition of perfection. Though you don't look at a wave and say that would have been better if, or damn, it really messed up when it made the foam right there, and when it could have what like the whitewashing could have been over. You don't critique the wave. The wave is itself perfection, and it can't mess up. And we are that as well. We are like that as well, where we can't make an aesthetic mistake. We can think we make mistakes. We can think we're not good enough or inadequate or unable or not perfect or not enough or whatever it is. But that's part of our perfection. I actually heard a quote just the other day. It said, I think it was from this lady named Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, something like that. And she said, I'm not okay. You're not okay. And that's okay.
yeah, that's beautiful. Everything is
Beautiful.
perfect. Everything.
Everything is perfect.
I love that, man. And to your point about the wave, yeah, every part of it is perfect. Even the crash is technically like it's like all this entropy, and it can be seen through the lens of like chaos and like I don't like this, but it is what it is, and it's kind of necessary to create that contrast of like so that it can settle
Mm,
into equilibrium again. And
right?
and I think that's awesome. Like, because if it's just all equilibrium all the time, there's no contrast. You know, we can't really appreciate equilibrium without the illusion of that entropy moment.
Wow. Didn't even think of that, man. And if you think about the way it perfectly and harmoniously builds, starts to turn into the classic wave shape and then explodes, it took the harmony and the perfection and the rhythm and form and sort of the water obeying this sort of law to then explode into that chaos. And then it does it again and again and again. It's crazy. That's a beautiful perspective, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That gives me a lot of peace whenever things get a little too hectic, a little too heavy in my personal life. I just remind myself that everything is perfect, even this moment of seeming imperfection, uh,
Yes.
seeming chaos, and that really helps me out during like the really deep moments of heaviness that I could have.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It goes back to the faith that you mentioned before that everything is going to be okay, the trust. Um, yeah, and you know, speaking of that like moment, it recently, I think, you know, especially with like the election coming around, there's this like collective vibe happening right now that's very like
Yeah, very static and intense.
yeah, it's like a stagnant type of crescendo happening, and I don't know what the
Whoa.
crescendo is leading to.
Right.
Yeah, like what is our collective moment of that wave before,
Whoa, right.
you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's eye opening, and I would love to get your thoughts on it too. Because connecting to news people, freaking all dressed up,
Yeah.
it's so fake, man. It's
So
so
fake. It's
like
crazy, bro. Like,
it's so obvious how fake it is now. Like I'll look at their eyes, and they're not looking at me. They're looking at the words that they're reading off of a screen.
yeah.
So I'm like, you're not a journalist then. You didn't write those words.
Right.
Who actually wrote those words? What
Right.
is you're just a robot reading a teleprompter? Like
Yeah, you might as well not even be there. Just show me the words, man. Why do you need a soul as a representative of your fucking make-believe narrative? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's crazy. And dude, Yeah, it reminds me of dude, when I watch the news, I either laugh or get genuinely like irritated and leave because it's like, what the hell are we doing? Like I'll just start clowning on him and goofing on him like, man, what the hell is this? Oh, and today the weather was like, and I'm standing here and it's like, what the fuck is this? What are we? You're this little speck. You're this little fucking thing in this thing, whole mystery and the emotions and love and heartbreak and ecstasy and fear and all of it, and I'm standing here and you fucking, it's so weird. And but then sometimes it will make me irritated, like, man, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, you know? And politics, I'm not even going to touch on the inner mechanics of that, but that's another one that either makes me laugh or gets me irritated because it's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing that is what we that's the structure. That's what we have to offer for the voice of us as humans in a civilization and how to go about that. And
Yeah,
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and I don't know really where I stand on that.
yeah.
I'm a Republicrat, you know. I don't know. I
I
don't
love
know. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I am, dude. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. I'm just here, you know,
that.
and yeah, like it reminds me of like going on social media when I'm like tripping on acid, you
Mhm.
know? It's like, yeah, like 3 in the morning, I'm tripping out, man. And I decide just in like a moment of quietness to like check my phone real quick and I go on and there's all these people like fucking like selfies and I'm like, what the fuck is all this? Everybody's sharing what they did that day and selfies and look where I went and look how happy I am and look how sad I am and look what I'm doing. And it's like, what are we doing? Or if I go onto my social media when I'm tripping on ass and I'm like, that's who I am. What have I been? Who is this? You know, it's crazy. It's
Well,
crazy. It's weird, and it can feel very alienating, dissociative. It can feel very plastic and fake and superficial and inorganic, like I said a while ago. And yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird.
I agree.
I
It's,
wanna. What's that?
oh, no worries. Go ahead. Do your thing.
I have a good question that I want to touch on, and it's what are some of the main and staple practices that you have for allowing yourself, surrendering, centering,
Yeah.
and learning how to love yourself more and love others more? What are some main when shit's going south, when shit feels in a sort of disarray, what do you do to bring it back into center? What's the tools that you call on?
Mm, the main tool that I call on is acceptance. Um, I can't fight what is, right? Like what's happening is what's happening. And I noticed that a lot of the friction and this touch again upon family relationships, it's me wishing that they would understand me better and them wishing that I would be anybody other than maybe myself is the wrong word, but them wishing that I was thinking a little different. So we're both wishing the current reality is different than what it is. We're both,
Right.
yeah, we're both wishing the other person is different than who they are. And that's not real. I can't do that. It creates a
Yeah.
lot of, so I have to accept, like, I have to accept them for who they are in this moment without having to try to change them. And I have to accept that they may not accept where I'm at in my current moment. And it's just acceptance all around. Like there may be friction, there may be disagreements, but I have to encapsulate it all with acceptance or else it'll just feed the friction.
Yep.
Um, so me, acceptance is a big tool that I call upon, and something like practical is always my breath, my breathing. To me, the in breath is always like an inspiration, right? It's just, and I acknowledge everything that is, and then like the exhale is kind of like the letting go of the blockages, letting go of myself was getting in the way, and I just keep practicing that over and over. And lately, I love kind of like that suspension between breaths, whereas at the inhale, now I'm suspending. And then like that suspension feels like when I'm get out of the matrix. That's when I
Wow.
zoom out, like, oh wow, I can see everything for what it is. Exhale, I'm back into it again.
Wow.
And that gives me perspective,
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like
It's almost like that moment when you're jumping on a trampoline and you go from going up to going down. Wow, that's interesting. And that's a that suspension point, that flip. They tell you in some traditional meditation practices to mind the gap, be mindful of that space where it goes doop doop doop.
wow.
It's interesting. It's interesting, and I like um your integration of that space. That space. That's very, very beautiful.
Yeah, it's on both sides of it too. Like there's that suspension after the inhale. There's that suspension, and then, but then there's also that suspension after the exhale, where it's like,
Yep.
it's like it encapsulates both side of it, and to me, it's like an invitation to pause and look around the scenery, take everything in, and there's even a type of breathing where it's just fully circular, no suspension, just and that's like very nice and beautiful too. So it's just all these different ways of breathing that helps me like tap into a certain state of consciousness, whatever I need in that moment. um, and I actually kind of I use this as like a diagnostic tool to see how someone breathes. I'll ask them like, hey, can you just take a couple of deep breaths for me? And then I'll notice, and this is the most common one, their exhale is very they're very good at exhaling, but their inhale is so shallow. It's like
Yep.
can't breathe that deeply. And oftentimes, how we breathe reflects where we are as on our journey, what we need to. So, like, if they have a very shallow in breath, they tend to be very tired as individuals because they're not
Wow.
replenishing their energy as much, but they're producing so much. They're expressing so much, but it's out of balance. Their intake, their inflow doesn't match. So that's how I start to address it for them. It's like, okay, let's be more mindful of your in breath so you can be in a state of balance. And
Wow. Very interesting.
yeah, the breath is a powerful, powerful tool
Hmm.
for diagnosing and for treatment actually. And I'll end with like this second part, which is dance. That's one of my main tools, of course.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen like crumping, or like it's like a type of dance, just like just like very aggressive.
Yep. I know what you're talking about. Yep. That's sick as hell, man.
Yeah, I use crumping a lot to process aggression, anger, frustration in a harmonious way. I'm not destroying anything, but I'm not repressing anything. It's like I'll imagine like my ball of frustration and I'll like play around with it, understand it a little
And
bit,
ripped.
rip it, throw it, get it back. What is this all about? It's just like
That's what's up, dude.
this is a great way to process like aggressive energy, which a lot of men in our culture have, but it's not, I guess, like kosher to break shit. So
Wow.
this is a good way for me to get into like that primal man aggression
Yes.
while respecting the environment and myself.
That's beautiful, man. Like how we have rage rooms. Just fucking smash it. That's sick. Start crumping, man. Fucking rip that shit apart. Throw it away. Pull it back. That's sick. I love that, bro. That is so beautiful. Um, we're in our last little 5 minute period here. I'm gonna touch on one really important question. I want you to sit with it as long as you need to. If you could speak to everyone on Earth at this very moment, Z, in a single sentence, what would you have to say?
In a single sentence, oh my God, there is no separation. Yeah, there's no separation. And I'm gonna like build upon that. That's the single sentence, but there is no separation. The separation is all an illusion. like me and you, we're not actually separated. We're playing this game where we feel separated so that we can experience like heartache, love, forgiveness. It's this illusion is important, right? The separation is important, but don't get lost in that illusion. This illusion allows me to experience what it feels like to give Devin something. It gives us this opportunity to feel to experience what it feels like for Devin to give me something, for me to forgive Devin, and vice versa. Like this
Wow.
reason of separation is that powerful, but we get so deep in that separation. It's all just like I'm an ego. It's all about me. Fuck you. I'm gonna destroy you for my own gain, and we're just lost in that illusion. Like use the illusion, yes, but never forget that we are all connected. Never forget that this is an illusion for our collective benefit.
Wow.
We are one. That's it.
Dude, that's so beautiful. And I don't know why. In the same way you told me that me saying something earlier did something for you, you just put a very beautiful spin on the truth of us all being one that I've never really heard put in that way before. And that's in order to experience like I've heard it put how we're one, but we're playing separate so that we can find ourselves. But it's never been really articulated in the way that you just did of saying how we're one, but we're playing in the illusion of separateness so that I can learn what it means to be hurt, to be betrayed, to be loved, to be able to forgive, to be forgiven, to be mad at the other, which is me, to be happy at, to be in love with the other, to learn and explore myself, the other. That's fucking beautiful, man. That is beautiful and something I've never heard put so clearly and concisely of how it's to be able to experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, dude. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Do you have any last closing statements, Z?
Oh man. Last closing statement. I love you, bro. Thanks for inviting me on here. I love everybody that's listening. Love is all around us. Love doesn't cost a thing. And we just got to get out of the way. There's so much love to be received in this world. And
Wow.
I just like to end on that note.
Mm, so, so beautiful. I know a lot of people that have a hard time sharing that intimacy and saying I love you. And bro, I proudly say I love you so much, man. Thank you so much. To all the viewers, thank you so much. Go check out Z's Instagram, his YouTube channel. I'll link all that stuff in the description. Z, thank you so much, man. You're a dear friend. It's been far too long since our last conversation, and I look forward to having you on again.
Oh man. Thank you. Happy to come on anytime, brother.
Thank you so much, man. All right. I'll see you, bro.